Hello, my name is Anusha Kheraj, and I'm here to introduce Audrey Muscari. On my first day at SMS, Audrey, whose locker was next to mine, and I were at our lockers, when suddenly Clara and Audrey started wrestling, only to come crashing down on me as we all tumbled to the ground. Needless to say, I was a little frightened as Clara yelled, "We scarred the new girl." This kind of reminds me of the time last week when Audrey was coming out of Mr. McCullough's room and I was coming in, and we bumped into each other and we awkwardly stood there too lazy to do anything, until Audrey said, "Hey, you could put this in my intro." Most people know Audrey as the girl who always has Chick-fil-A or Dr. Pepper. Others know her as an extremely talented competitive horseback rider. But Audrey is more than that. Audrey is kind, caring, intelligent, and a trustworthy friend. So with that, I give you Audrey Towers Muscari.
Only those who risk going too far can possibly figure out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Life is meant to test limits. It is meant to be lived. To live, one must take risks. Risks that can make a person fall and hit the ground or jump hard. Risks that can raise one up to the top of the podium. What makes a risk worth taking? Why is something worth such a risk? It is the Junior Jumper Classic. The time allowed is 68 seconds. We had a great warm-up. I am in my jumper whites and my horse is braided and anxious. We walk down the ramp. My trainer gives me last-minute advice and walks to the side of the arena to watch. I walk in and the gate closes. The first buzzer sounds for the 45-second countdown clock to begin. I take a breath, shorten my reins, and pick up the canter. I do an attitude check for my horse to gauge her mental state for this class. The clock is down to 14 seconds as I approach the first jump. I make sure my horse is straight to it and go. It is a nice and inviting 4-foot oxer. My horse jumps up great and gives the rails plenty of room. Now the hard part is finding the perfect balance between risk and reward in the first round. I have to gauge my speed and determine how fast I need to go to be inside the time allowed. There are ways I can compensate for not going fast, and that is tighter turns, cutting corners to the jumps, and leaving strides out in between. I have to think about these options and determine what is best while making sure to not have a rail down and incur 4 faults. This course has 16 efforts, including a triple combination and a triple bar. If I have a rail down, even if I'm the fastest horse, I will not make it to the jump off. I have walked the course and determined what I believe is the correct number of strides between the jumps, but this is completely circumstantial. The course hardly ever goes according to plan, because the job of the course designer is to give options and trouble spots to separate the decent rides from the great ones. This idea makes for a fun and quite challenging 2 minutes. I also have to think ahead and conserve my horse's energy for the possibility of the jump off. The jump off is the short course. The time allowed is generally under 45 seconds, and there are usually only 6 to 7 jumps. In the jump off, there is one goal, and that is to push every limit: speed, tight turns, and your horse's ability. It is always a fight to the finish when first and second can be separated by only 1/1000th of a second. Being tidy and efficient can make all the difference. I prepare myself and my horse to gallop at the first jump of the jump off and make an unbelievably tight turn back to the second. The only time that might rival the nerves and excitement of a jump off is waiting and watching the rounds of the 40 or so people gunning for my time. This is why I will not tell my result, because that is part of the fun and excitement. I have learned through these checks and balances of risks and rewards. There have been many times when the risks have paid off huge, and many more times when I have given my horse a big pet and walked out of the ring with at least 4 faults. I have learned that to truly recognize and appreciate the reward, there must be many failed risks before it. In the end, the risk is more than just being in the arena. The risk is in fully trusting the 1,200-pound animal you are on to help you if your idea is not working out. For me, the reward is not in the ribbons and trophies, but it is in that moment of perfect harmony between my horse and me. This harmony is right before she leaves the ground to jump. At that moment, she trusts me. She trusts that I will help her over it, and I give her that same trust in return, because I know she will do everything in her power to help me. I am addicted to this feeling of being in such control when in the same moment I am completely giving it over to my horse. William Faulkner sums this feeling up perfectly with this: there is something about jumping a horse over a fence, something that makes you feel good. Perhaps it's the risk, the gamble. In any event, it's a thing I need. Life is all about give and take, risk and rewards. As Maurice Sendak in his book Where the Wild Things Are says, inside all of us is hope, inside all of us is fear. Inside all of us is adventure, inside all of us is a wild thing. To live without risks is to live in the ordinary. As soon as we take the step to risk it all, we jump into the possibilities of living an extraordinary life. Thank you.